Welcome back to the Bible Caddie Podcast. I'm William Kane. I'm joined by my good buddies, Ben Crane and Webb Simpson. What's up, boys?
What's up, fellas? So happy to be with y'all. I mean, it's only thing better than Masters Week at home is Masters Week at the Masters. But I'm home this week.
So true. So true.
Benjamin, how you doing, buddy?
Buddy, 2 weeks off. Great to be home. Literally excited about Masters Week. Like, just the best golf tournament in the world. So fun to watch. Coverage is unbelievable.
All right, Ben, you're not a huge golf watcher. Walk us through your best guess on total hours Thursday or maybe even Wednesday through Sunday with the par 3 contest. How many hours are you going to watch?
Over-unders 2. I'm not much of a watcher.
Y'all, my sweet wife, the only time she plans nothing for me to be a part of when I have an off week is Saturday, Sunday of a Masters, because she knows basically 12 till 7, I'm not moving except to use the restroom.
I mean, Webb's going from sparkling water to coffee to a cold beer, just crushed ice. Well, we got a special guest to talk all about it. Before we go to him, I just want to humbly point out, guys, I'm kind of sneaky on a heater with picks. I got back-to-back top fives. Ludwig sneaks in there for a 5th at Valero, so that's 100 more to a charity of my choice, Wycliffe Bible Translators. So all glory to God. I just want to give him the credit for what.
Way to go, buddy!
For what he's doing in my life.
Hey, how good is I'm on a heater, but glory to God.
Yeah. Hey, Lord, it's me.
The Lord. Listen, the Lord uses means. He uses means. And all right, well, boys, it's Masters Week, and our goal today, we're taking a little break from Sermon on the Mount. We want to deep dive on all things Augusta National, and to do it, we've got such a special guest. So, Weber, I'm going to give you the honor of introducing our guest today.
Yeah, we got one of my best friends in the entire world, a guy who's totally transformed my life, my game in so many ways. I call him a brother in Christ, most importantly. We have Paul Tesori, caddied for me 12 and a half years before a short break. And then we're back together now in 2026. So we have the one and only Paul Tesori on. Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me on. Got the privilege of doing this twice. U.S. Open. Now we got the Masters. At some point, we got to run back an Open Championship and a PGA just to make sure we run for the cycle around there. So looking forward to today, geeking out on golf and Jesus, two of my favorite things. So let's do it.
So good. Paulie, you have been around Augusta National more times than you can count. How many Masters have you caddied in over the years? You caddied for VJ.
Are you trying to make fun of my Florida education that I can't count to 23? I mean, go Gators. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Ben. Yeah, this will be my first year was 01 when Vij was defending champ. I've done 23. I've missed 3 years through the time, but it's a week that I love. It's going to be a week that's a little bit hard. There's like a little bit of me that doesn't want to watch, but there's no doubt I'll have everything taped. I still say taped. You can tell I'm 54. Nobody's taped anything for over 20 years. But I'm still taped. But we will be watching
4 players.
What's that?
You've caddied for 4 different players there?
I think I've caddied for 7 different players there. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
VJ,
Webb,
Jerry
you know him
Kelly.
so well.
Yeah, VJ, Jerry, Sean O'Hare.
One of my best friends.
Who?
No, we're just making fun of Webb. He thought you'd caddy for 4 people there. You've caddied for 7.
One of my best buddies. All he cares about is that I caddied for him. I'm only caddied for one guy there. Exactly. He is my best finish still, so that's all right. We can sit on that one. But let's see again. We got VJ, Jerry, Sean, Webb, Tom, Cam. 6 different guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But buddy, what's your favorite thing about it? Just, apart from being on the golf course, like Masters Week, going into the caddy area, all kinds of little traditions, all kinds of special treatments. What stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to go with that. I think one of the coolest parts is that the caddy area is the area. Our little building is where all the players hang out. It's where all the physios are. We had great food that week. We've got a little buffet set up, and you can do a little make your order, eat more cheeseburgers in one week during the Masters than any other week. I think it's amazing to have everything right. We're literally on the range. And so it's that's where you show up. That's where you register. That's where you get your caddy bib. A lot of people don't know that's where you get your little number, depending on what number you register at. You'll see every year Jason Day is either 2, 3, or 4. Number 1's reserved for the defending champ. So he's had one of those too. I've never gotten to wear the number 1. Actually, I did my first year because V's was defending champ. I just didn't earn it. A little bit of gospel centeredness there. We'll get back to that later on. But that's all right.
Gospel right there.
That is gospel.
Somebody else
I got
did
the
work.
imputed righteousness of BJ Singh. I don't think that's where we were trying to go with this one. But anyway, so it's got all of these little things. The guys remember your name every year. You show up. You have your same locker. They already know what suit size you are. They already know if you like the sleeves cut or not cut. Like, there's just all these little things that you don't have to worry about when you show up. For us,
or if you're Stevie Williams, you got the zipper down to the belly button.
Oh, all the way down.
Seriously.
Steve Williams days all the way down, hair coming out. I still remember.
It's provocative.
I still remember Webb there one year. He had one long chest hair coming out, and we could kind of tell where the wind was going based on what it was doing as it was flying. He finally trimmed that one once we were all done. But and a fun part for us.
And people don't know the greatest, coldest, best beer in the whole world is in the caddy room. I mean,
look
when you
at
finish your
Ben
round.
Crane.
I mean, literally, I remember sitting down with Jolie, and you just kind of look over, and they're already bringing one to you. And
Yes,
you just like all the players are in there, all the caddies are in there, and it's the best hang. We always say, where would Jesus hang out? He would hang out in the caddy room because it's where all the fun is.
Well, there's 2 of the greatest people watching days are Friday afternoon, because you got half the guys that miss the cut. And when you have free cold beer flowing right out of a fresh keg, they're easy to go, and you can keep the little plastic cups. So, they got them about this high as they're up there bragging. And then you got the Christians that are only drinking out of one, but there's like 7 underneath the table, but they're only drinking out of one. You got to keep a little legalism in there just in case. And then Sunday afternoon, as soon as everyone's done, nobody leaves.
Why would you?
Yeah, why would you? You get to watch the Masters, and you get to watch it on your own. You get 3 different TVs with different, and again, free food, free beer, and you get to watch the greatest tournament on earth. So it's a great place to be. And for us, we get to save $150 because these are free that week, which usually we got to pay $150 for those things. So the yardage books are
for the listener. He just held up a great yardage book. It's one of the great yardage books because of the detail and. Yeah, and they give you that awesome green leather case.
Actually, hold on.
With this stamped Augusta
this
logo
one is
on it.
That's from Weber. Weber made me that one up that says Boudreaux. That's our nickname for each other. Teddy Scott still gets mad that we spell it the way we do. In Louisiana, which is where Boudreaux started for Buddy, I think it's Beadreaux or something like that. But
they don't even know how to spell go. In Louisiana, they don't even know how to spell go. Paulie, best finish at Augusta.
Yeah, best finish at Augusta was with Weber. We finished 5th in 19?
19.
Yeah, 19. I've been fortunate, had a lot of top 10s there. Had really only had a couple of chances to fully win. I would say 1 with O'Hare, 2 with Veach, and 1 with Weber. There's no greater feeling than being at Augusta with a chance to win. And it's still a place through all the times that I've been there and through the few times I've had an opportunity to win. I've never felt nerves there. And I think so much of it is because there's such a deep appreciation for what you're doing. I still remember the first one I was caddying in 01. And I'm going on the back nine. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe this is something, back in the day when I grew up, you would just show up on Monday and you would buy your $10 ticket on Monday. Anybody could go, and it was $15 on Tuesday and $20 on Wednesday. And you would just go to the gate and you would buy your ticket and away you went. And so I think when I was 14, 15, 16, we did it every year. And there was none of this where you had to, go in a lottery and these other things to be able to find tickets. So I have so many fond memories of being there with my best friends growing up, and even my college teammates in Florida. Like, we would still go. And to be able to caddy in it, it's a different thing. And I know Webb's got a great story about our year, the year I finished 5th, but just about the chance to win that golf tournament, but also being a full appreciation about what you were in the middle of.
You mentioned Sean O'Hare, and I think for people watching, this is a great thing to realize because I think most people feel the opposite of what Phil told Sean. So why don't you tell that story to kind of kick off what this golf course is really like?
Yeah. So I believe it's 2010. I know Phil won the year I'm talking about. So Sean was one of those guys the older guys love to play with. Tiger and Sean probably played over 70 practice rounds together. Phil loved to play with Sean. And so, they invited us to one of those Phil matches where you're out playing for too much money, at least for Sean and me. But you're going out, and this day, Phil shot 44 on the front nine. It was Wednesday. We went out early. We were first off at 8 a.m. He shot 44 on Wednesday. I remember he doubled 11 and doubled 12. So what is that? 8. So he's 12 over through 12. Sean was a couple under, but on the back nine, he pulled it in the water, I think on number 11, and made a good bogey. Another shot. And Sean, when things weren't going perfectly, he would get really internal, just frustrated. He wanted everything to be going well. And we come off the tee on 13, and Phil puts his arm around Sean and says, "Hey, I want to share something with you about Augusta National." And at the time, I had already done, I think, 10 Masters, and so I knew the course really well. He goes, "It's the one place on earth, the one golf course, where you have to be the least perfect of any course in the world." And I remember thinking, what are you talking about? What is in the gum you're chewing right now? Like, have we got rid of CBD and thrown a little THC in there? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense. And he goes, "No, listen to me." He goes, "Every single hole there is an out. Every hole there's a side to miss it on. And it's a golf course that you can't help it. A run will come. A run of birdies will come out of the middle of nowhere. There's so many opportunities throughout the golf course for accidental runs to come. If you hang around even par, and if you're always missing it in the right spot, you're a world-class chipper, and obviously Phil is too. You're always going to have a chance. So when you're off, change your targets, swing aggressively to whatever those new targets are, knowing that if I miss it on that side, a great example, like, I can show you a little blip here, but like on number 1, you can see all of these notes, and Ben and Webb both know these, and William, you've been to enough, and you've caddied at a few now. But, pretty much anywhere on this right-hand side of the green is going to be a great spot to get up and down from. Whether the pin's back left, back right, you have a chance. And he put his arms around, he goes, "Stay around even par, and you'll have a chance." So Phil that year was even par on Saturday going into 13. He might have been 1 under, whatever it was. He eagled 13. He holed out on 14 for eagle, and then he hit it to an inch on 15, and he won the golf tournament the same week. I'm talking about he was 12 over through 12 on Wednesday and won the golf tournament. And he did exactly what he said. He was hanging around even par. I think he was in 30th place after 2 days, whatever it was, and a run came, and he ended up winning the golf tournament that week. And, when you're out there, it doesn't feel like the most forgiving golf course at all. You're trying to hit 4 irons into areas that are 4 yards wide, and Ben and Webb were both very average length players. And so going into some of these holes, you're hitting flat line 4 irons, trying to figure out how you're going to hit it on the green. But his purpose was, Webb and Ben are both also elite chippers, that if you missed it in the right spot, you were always going to have an unbelievable chance to get up and down, and birdies were going to come. And so it was a valuable lesson for me to win. It definitely helped my time with Sean, obviously, and with Weber. And coming up, me and Cam had a great chance to win there. And then hopefully when Weber and I get back, we'll have a chance as well. But yeah, it was a big eye opener.
And let me for the listener, I'm going to show you. I printed out hole number 6. All right, and so hole number 6 is, I think, a typical way that you have to understand Augusta National. Okay, you're generally hitting about a 7 iron in number 6, and let's say the pin is here in the back right. Okay, it's about 25 feet across the back. Now it's a downhill shot. Proximity is about 30 to 34 feet with a 7 iron for PGA Tour. But because the ball's in the air longer because it's a downhill shot, let's call proximity 40 feet. Well, you've only got right here across this about 25 feet. But you can't miss over here. You can see that no right there. You absolutely cannot miss right of this pin because you're not going to get it up and down. The fairways are combed into you. So you're not going to hit a solid chip there. You can't fly down the green. You're going to have to putt it. You're not going to be able to control the speed from over there. You cannot live, like Paulie's saying, short-sighting yourself at Augusta National. So that means that you're aiming right here. Well, that's giving yourself, the ball's going to hit this tier and run down to here, and you've got like a 45-foot putt. So here you are, you have to, like Decade Golf says, you're aiming here and you kind of hope you push it, but if you hit a perfect shot, you're down here 40 some feet away. This is how what Paulie's saying about making runs at Augusta National. You have to wait for this run, but whatever you do, you cannot, there's always one side to miss. So here we are, number 6, hitting a 7-iron. You have to aim where you're going to be 40 some feet away, but you're going to get on a run where you're going to hit a few of these in a row, and all of a sudden you're going to have some literally 6-footers for birdie, and you can start making a run at Augusta National. But for the rookies playing Augusta National for the first time, your first Masters, it's just so enticing. You want to hit it close, and you make these errors, and all of a sudden you make bogeys when you're supposed to be making birdies, and you fall behind, and you can't make it up.
It's so true. You know, we go back to Rory when he had the 5-shot lead at Augusta. That'd have been 2011, right, boys? Is that the right year? 2011.
I think that's right.
Yep. And, you know, when he lost the lead, he shot 81. And the very next major he played in was the U.S. Open at Congressional, and he had a 5-shot lead going in the last day. And he won by 8. And they asked him if he learned anything, and he said emphatically he did, that when he went out that last day at Augusta, he was picking conservative targets and putting conservative swings on it. So an example like what Ben just said, it would be like he was aiming left of that flag, but almost trying to like pull it again to make sure he didn't miss it left. And throughout that day, he kept putting conservative swings to conservative targets, where what Augusta makes you do is put aggressive golf swings at whatever target you have chosen. You know, there might be a few pins on number 12 that you're going right at, and you're going to be aggressive to those targets. You never want to miss right, but you're not trying to pick that target and then also hit it left. And so that's the valuable like experience that Augusta has. I think that's why we don't see more first-time winners, even though we're going to at some point, just because these young guys are getting so good and the yardage books are better, the caddies are better, the information is better. But it's hard to win for the first time because you have to pick these targets and hit these chips that you never would normally.
And really, I mean, it's a ball striker's paradise. You know, I know, Weber, I want you to talk about this because you were just on our friend's podcast and you guys talked about what's the strokes gain, the person coming into the Masters. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Kyle Porter posted recently that 11 of the last 13 Masters champs have been plus 1.7 or better in strokes gained tee to green in the 3 months leading up to the Masters. And if you go through the Masters winners and even Masters contenders, average to below average putters win the Masters actually way more often than you think. And so Augusta for forever was known as a place where great putters win, but it's actually the opposite is true. You go through, you know, the last 2 decades, and I can name you minimum 5 golfers who are below average putters for sure. And so the point is, what's most important at Augusta is, I would say, if you had to go one category, I would say approach shots. Paulie has a great theory on chipping and pitching as well. Paulie, talk about the chipping and pitching and how important that is as well.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, I want to talk about like how Augusta flipped, because it used to be a putter's golf course. Back before the major renovation,
Ben Crenshaw won the Masters back then. You're right.
It was 600 yards shorter. The greens were more hunched and they were much faster. And so back in those days, you would have basically only great putters that were coming through and winning there. You know, you look at Norman and Mize and Faldo and Crenshaw, all of these unbelievably great putters. Nicholas was an elite putter. And you look at them but when they changed the golf course and made it a big boy course, they since have added over 600 yards. And back then there was no rough anywhere on property. Now we have rough. Back then,
tiger proofing,
downgrading. Yeah, everything was downgraded. Now every fairway's into the green and along. And so we know statistically now over the last 15 years, the most important stat is strokes gained approach to the green. So iron play is the number one most important stat. Second is around the greens. Third is putting. Fourth is driving distance. Fifth is driving accuracy. And so, you know, as you go through these and you look at some of the winners, Phil was never a great driver of the ball. Tiger, for the majority of his career, was never a great driver of the ball. And
Garcia, not a great putter. Bubba, not a great putter.
Adam Scott.
Right. Westwood almost won there a ton of times, and putting was his weakest
Absolutely. Link. And you look, that's the third most important stat statistically. And so when you go around this golf course, it's strokes gained approach to the green and it's chipping for the same reasons Phil talked about way back in the day. And you look at some of these crazy holes, but, you know, you go to a hole like number 2 And again, you can see all of my little systems on here, like around the greens. They're 2.5, 2.5, 3. And if you get the front left pin on number 2 and you hit it in that front bunker, unless you've gotten lucky on an upslope, you can't hit it inside 30 feet. But if you blow it in the crowd right, you have a straight open look to the green, and that's where approach the greens. They will penalize that ball that was going right at the pin but finished in the front bunker. They'll penalize that shot. They won't statistically penalize the shot that goes over in the crowd because the chance of getting up and down from there is so much higher. And so I think that's why we see, and I think, weeks like this, you could look at guys that might be struggling off the tee, but have had elite iron play. Like, I think those are going to be the guys that you're going to look at. It looks like they're going to have great weather. It's going to rain every day down here in Ponte Vedra, but Augusta looks like they got the good end of the draw and have a lot of sun. So the greens are going to get a little firmer. They're going to be able to pick the golf course the way they want. Into the grain fairways, people don't make a big enough deal about. They don't allow a GC quad or any measuring device on the golf course. And we know into the grain, there's a major difference in spin rates into the grain. And it all depends on how your guy hits the golf ball. If you're a steep guy, the end of the grain is going to affect even more. If you're a shallower guy, it's going to affect even less. But as you go through those things, you're guessing more at Augusta than you are. We can go out with our measuring devices at every other golf course in the world. The U.S. Open, the British Open, the PGA. Augusta's the only one that will not allow any of those machines on the golf course. So when you're dealing with long fairways that are cut into the grain, again, approach play again becomes a major part of what you're trying to do.
Paulie, say something about how many uneven lies you also have at Augusta, because that's another thing that people just don't realize is how extreme the uneven lies are on almost every iron shot.
I think I've been fortunate enough to play Augusta 4 times, and I think people have always asked, what's the biggest takeaway? There's such a difference standing on 13, 15 on the wedge shot, number 1 on an uphill slope, number 2 on a side hill slope. When you're caddying, it just seems, the ball's going to go a little left when you hit it, or the ball's going to go a little right when you hit it, or the ball's going to go flatter. Then you're standing over 15, you're standing over a 75-yard wedge shot. It's straight down a 7-degree slope, and the grain's running straight into you. And by the way, I need you to spin it, and I need you to land it within about 4 yards of where you're trying. Like, I don't know. When you're caddying, it's just such an easy thing to spit out numbers.
9, the lies downhill and below your feet going away from me, but you got to hit it up
and left,
and toward the left. Yeah, that's right.
Up and to the left is like, how do you? It's such a hard shot.
Yeah,
and people don't understand. For the listener, let me give you a little stuff on uneven lies. All right, let me just take you through one of the hardest lies in all of golf. Ready? Downhill, ball below your feet. Okay, so let me tell you all the corrections you would need to make on a downhill ball below your feet. Okay, ball below your feet. The ball is going to want, for a right-hander, the ball is going to want to move to the right. The ball just always starts to push to the right. There's a lot of reasons why it's going on. So generally, you can lower the handle to make the face point more back up towards the target. But also, your body's wants to move down the hill, ball below your feet. But now you've got the downhill lie, which most people hit that ball a little fat or not quite as crisp. So you have to move the ball back in your stance. So the corrections that I've learned for ball below the feet, downhill lie is move the ball back in your stance to create more angle of attack so that you hit the ball solid on the downhill lie. Now, ball below the feet, I got to aim the face a little more left, so I'll lower the handle slightly, and then I'll try to keep my body from falling down the hill. But now the ball is going to launch a little lower, and it's going to push a little right. You're taking all this into account, and then all of a sudden, you can only miss it, like Paulie's saying, in a small little window. Augusta National, you have to understand what happens. Like an uphill lie, ball above your feet is like a double closer, we call them. Like the ball is going to want to go uphill lie, makes the ball go left. Ball above makes the ball go left. Face is aiming more left. I mean, there's so many corrections you're making. You need to be an expert in this category. And you look at this, that's why the strokes gain irons on Augusta National is number 1. If you understand all this with your irons, either intuitively or statistically, you have such an advantage.
Yeah, everything Ben just said. In fact, I've had 3 of my guys, we've changed irons for the week, just moving to irons with more bounce. So it got out of that into the grain grass quicker, because what Ben's talking about, The thing is, when you work with elite players, which anyone on the PGA Tour is, especially if you're in the if you're in the Masters at Augusta National, guys have a tendency, Johnny Miller always said this, that great players tend to miss the ball below your feet left because you guys are so good with your hands that you make these innate changes as you've already done things. And so caddying for Webber on number 9, it was one of the biggest changes Webb ever had there. Webb struggled at Augusta for the first part of his career. And Webb, wasn't it number 9 that was your big aha moment?
Yeah, but let me set this story up because you called me. So we went like 3 years in a row, miscut by one, made the cut on the number. Paulie calls me Friday night about 9 o'clock. Says, buddy, I don't care what we shoot this weekend. We have one objective and one objective only. And I'm like, all right, what is it? You know, we're in 47th place. He said, we're going to miss it in the correct spot every hole. And I said, okay. He goes, I don't care. He goes, you're going to argue with me tomorrow when we have a 9-iron to a pin that's 5 from the left. When I say go 5 right of it, he goes, but we're going to do it. I said, okay, let's do it. So then we're doing good through 8 holes. We get to 9, and that's your story, Paulie. Middle left pin.
Yeah. Well, you tell the story.
You can't miss it. You can't miss it 3 feet left.
Yeah,
No.
Right?
So we're exactly what Ben's describing. Balls below our feet, away from us, into the green to a middle left pin. So I say 15 feet right. Paulie goes, no, buddy. We're going on the right fringe. And I'm like, that's a yard from the people. It's 35
For the listener,
He's
it's
like,
the
buddy.
simplest up and down in the history of the world my 6-year-old could do.
It is.
Yeah.
But if you're 3 feet left,
Just said.
the greatest bunker player in the history of the world, KJ Choi, couldn't get it up and down if he tried 10 times.
It's a water hazard. The bunker,
100%.
we're playing the bunker as a water hazard. So because Paulie called me Friday night, I'm pretty committed to this plan. And I go, fine. You know, and it's pretty uncomfortable having a 7-iron from the fairway, lining it up at the fringe, knowing a perfect shot's on the fringe. Well, I push it a little bit as you're supposed to. We yell 4, and you know the people are moving. And I get there, and I'm taking 2 practice swings, and I'm laughing. And the reason I'm laughing is what you just said, Ben. I think to myself, I'm like, my little Eden B. Simpson couldn't mess this up. I hit it.
Crew Crane could get this thing up and down.
It to 4 feet. I could push it. It's going to come left. I could pull it. It's coming right. I can hit it too hard. It's coming back. I'm like, I can't mess this up. I chip it to gimmies. And I'm playing with Davis Love that day, by the way. And I go on to the back 9, and I have, to that point in my career, my best Masters finish and my best Masters weekend. I think I finished 20th. But that was the aha moment. And thanks to Paulie's call Friday night, we committed to that the rest of our time there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and it gave you a couple chances to win there. And I think that's where it comes down to. You would probably rather have the chip from the people than that 50-footer from the back edge of the green. And it's just, that's the crazy part about Augusta National is it goes right back to what Phil said originally, and it goes back to what we see out of the winners. Approach to the green, then strokes gained around the green. Those are the 2 monster stats. And if you have guys that are running hot in that area, and what you said, strokes gained tee to green, people forget, but 67% of strokes gained approach to the green, or tee to green, is chipping an iron play. And we know distance and accuracy is back there in 4th and 5th. So if you can do that, you can stay disciplined in what you're trying to do. It's hard I think it's hard for anyone to stay disciplined. It's really hard for an elite athlete to stay disciplined when they know they can do better with a shot. But to stay disciplined is so important in what you're trying to do around Augusta National.
All right, William, I got a question for you. You've caddied for John Augustine and Gordon Sargent at the Masters. And so you're literally coaching these guys up that how to play Augusta for their first time. You know, you've been around there many times. You've had my yards books, like Paulie, we've all been pouring into you to help, you with the guys. Two questions. Number 1, what's your favorite thing about caddying at the Masters? And number 2, what is your message to your player when you're caddying at Augusta?
Man, the number 2 is exactly what Paul's saying. Like, I've talked to you guys enough that I know it's a disciplined man's game. And so for weeks leading up, I would try to talk to those guys about, like, dude, let's stay self-controlled. Let's do the right thing on each shot. Let's not get greedy. But like you're saying, it's such a temptation to a good young player to take the bait. Like you got a 9-iron in your hand, you've made birdie with a 9-iron 1,000 times in your life, and you think you can go do it again right there, and you miss by 3 yards, like you're saying, and all of a sudden a potential birdie turns into a double bogey. And so it's I really am just trying to iterate all that y'all have said so far on this podcast. Yeah, my favorite thing about it is on every single hole, you have a memory, of some past masters where it's like, man, that magical moment happened right here. I'm standing in the very spot where this happened. And it's amazing. You're just, best story I got though was John Augenstein's Masters 2020 COVID Masters. And we're on the first hole and he's putting out, cleaning up for par, and Webb's going from 8 to 9, and 1 green and 9 tee are right there next to each other. And Paulie and Webb were like 5 under through 8 or something like that. And I just remember looking at Webb saying, "Hello, buddy," and I'm like, man, what a fun thing. So
yeah, we saw your bride Michelle earlier trying to hide. We got a pretty good story that you have to tell that has to do with Michelle, Bubba Watson, and the Masters. Can you tell us that real quick?
Absolutely. So there's one palm tree on property at Augusta National. I had caddied in, 10 Masters at this time, and I had no idea where the one palm tree was. I was fortunate enough to go play there, and my caddy told me about the one palm tree. And it's on number 4 to the right-hand side. It used to be way back in the bamboo. So my wife was going for the first time, my wife, Michelle. It was 2011. 2012. Michelle was going to her first Masters. And so we're on the way up and we're talking, and we had gotten married the year before. And so I was like, listen, there's one palm tree on the whole property. I was trying to find something good for her. If you find it, there's this other little band. She didn't really need it for her wedding ring. I thought it made it. I have an OCD, and I just thought it made it look even. Of course, only a dummy would think that an expensive ring would try to look even. But I'm like, if you find it, the one palm tree, I'm going to buy you this extra ring. She's like, okay, great. I'm going to look for it and find it. She had no chance to find this ring, 0. So we tee off, and it's us, Jason Day, Ricky Fowler, and Bubba Watson. On the third hole, Jason Day leaves, which later on we'll talk about why that was a bad decision. But so we're on number 4. They tee off, and Webb said, "Paulie, is Michelle on this hole?" I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, but there's no way she'll find this palm tree." And Bubba says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm going to buy my wife this ring if she finds the palm tree." He goes, "Yeah, it's up there on the right of the green." He goes, $100, and I won't yell and find her right now and tell her where the palm tree is. I'm like, "Bubba, you're not going to do that." This guy yells out in front of 3,000 people, "Michelle! Michelle!" And he's pointing. I'm like, "Bubba, stop. I'll pay you." He goes, "No, it's $200 now." "Bubba, I'm not going to pay you." "Michelle!"
He's so funny.
I said, "Bubba, stop. I'll pay you $200. It's $400.
Bubba needed the money. He needed the money.
$200. So we go down the valley, and we're walking up to the 4th green, and I look up, and Bubba's going, "Uh-oh." I go, "What?" He goes, "Look to the left." And the palm tree's on the right. So I'm like, "Why?" I look over there, and Michelle is standing beside the ropes, and she has her arms raised in the victory formation, and she's pointing to the palm tree. And guys, Bubba's
so
laughing.
Funny.
Webb's laughing. Ricky's laughing. Jason had left on number 3. I'm not laughing at all. This ring's $10,000. I don't think it's funny at all. None of this is funny. I'm grumpy. I'm mad. I'm throwing down the disc that we're going to putt to. And all of a sudden, Ricky goes, "I tell you what we'll do. If one of us wins this week, we'll buy Michelle the ring." And Webb said, "If I win this week, he'll have enough money he can buy his own ring." So Ricky and Bubba decide that, okay, yeah, if we win this week, we're going to buy the ring. So that's the end of the story for now. So here we go. We fast forward to Sunday, and Bubba Watson's having this great battle with Louie. Louie makes double eagle on 2. They have this massive battle. We made the cut, but we didn't finish great. I think we finished 30th. So Michelle and I are on the way home, and we're laughing about the story, about what if Bubba won and all that. And, of course, Michelle and I would never, ever, ever bring it back up to Bubba. We don't expect him to buy this ring.
Or maybe.
And
maybe
so
Bubba would.
Bubba wins the Masters. Bubba wins the Masters in a playoff. And fortunately, I believe Ben might have been here for this little dinner where he realized. Didn't you stay for the dinner afterwards, Ben?
No, I was there. I was there on the playoff hole when he won with Ricky, but it didn't stay for the dinner.
Okay. Well, so they get done, and they're going in for the first time. He's going to get to sit and eat. They've done all the awards ceremonies, got his jacket on, and they get in there, and he's in there with Teddy Scott, I think Ricky Fowler, his family, everybody else. They're in there, and he's about to take his first bite, and he puts his hands down like this, and he goes, "Guys, do y'all have any idea what this means? And they're all like, buddy, you won the Masters. This is amazing. No,
Right.
I got to buy Michelle Tesori that doggone wedding band now. This is what he said. So sure enough, Bubba being Bubba, he calls me. He's like, go pick the ring out. Tell me what I owe. Michelle shares the story of the ring. He gets 25% discount because why wouldn't he? He doesn't have any money. So he's going to get a 25% discount that I wouldn't have gotten. So the story gets out, and Augusta doesn't like sometimes when things take away from the Masters. And so the story got out, the Augusta Chronicle, which is the big newspaper there. They did a front page spread of Michelle in the ring, and then it was like 5 pages they did. I'm like, oh, they're cutting that thing down. It's gone. Well, we show up the next year for the Masters, and they had cut all the bamboo away and had left the palm tree out by itself 5 yards away. It is now, there's no other tree around. That palm tree is sitting by itself down the right
The
hand
lone
side.
palm.
No
So it
way.
passed the lone
Awesome.
palm
Mr.
test
Chairman.
as
Yeah.
a Michelle Tesori test. So it's one of my favorite stories. It's so cool to think about what happened. And here's the next part real quick. Bubba won that Masters. Webb won that U.S. Open. And Ricky won his first tournament at Quail Hollow that same year. And Jason struggled for about 2 years. So we call it the curse of the ring.
Don't
for Jason
leave.
Day as he left. He ended up becoming #1 in the world like 3 years later. So he's okay. But
Yeah.
to have Bubba, Webb win the U.S. Open, Ricky win Quail, and then Bubba win that Masters is pretty cool.
That's cool.
So fun.
Yeah.
All right, we could do this all day. Here's what I think we should do now. Let's go rapid fire, Paulie, hole by hole.
Okay,
And
yeah.
what I'd love for you to do is get your book out. And I'm thinking about the guy who, number one, he just wants to learn things about this golf course, or two, he just wants to brag at his master's party this Saturday afternoon. So each hole, give us one nugget that
Okay.
you wouldn't know unless you are an expert like you. So start on
right.
start on number one.
All right, I got it. Okay, I'm going to try to hold it up as I'm talking about it. Like, you can kind of see. I'm going to leave it there. I'll poke around the corner so you can see. But, like, off the tee, we pretty much know what we're doing at Augusta National. Straight downwind, you'll see guys hit 3-wood this year. This bunker over here on the right-hand side from all the way back is about 315. You're actually going to see probably 6 or 7 guys be able to fly that and have wedge in. But you see all these numbers on the left-hand side. It says 4. 4 means no. In fact, Webb and I have started thinking about actually me coloring these in blue, meaning water hazard. But we know it's not a water hazard to these other pins. But basically on number 1, you know it's on the right. One of my favorite stories about number 1 is we're playing with Sergio one year. Both guys were, I think, in about 13th place going to the last day. Webb and I hit it left. We didn't have any obedience at all. We decide we're going to go through a tree. Hits a tree. We make 7. Sergio hits 9-iron, lands it this far from the hole. If you can't see it, lands it 6 inches from the hole to the front left flag. Goes all the way down, trickles off the green, goes behind the trees. He makes 6 to start on the first hole. So very quickly you can see you cannot treat number 1 as a birdie hole. They do have a brand new pin here, which is here. They've been using the last few years. They like to put it there the first day. It speeds up play a little bit, and it is a birdieable hole. There's a lot of break around that pin, but you know, it's a position that you can get there. They like to change things up. So number 1, basically second shot, always miss right. Even to the right pins, right's okay. You wouldn't want to go pin high right to back right, but anything on that right-hand side still very
Short
good.
and right is good. Long and left is dead. This is rapid fire, by the way, Paulie.
I know that was not very rapid at all.
We're putting you on the clock. We're putting you on the
we're
clock.
going to go through number 2 quick. All right, 2's going to be fast. 2, you can just see all the rolls I have. I hate giving this. I don't think there's going to be any players watching this, but Webb and I know one secret to Augusta nobody knows. It's this putt to back right. You'll always watch on TV, everybody putts it with 15 feet of break. It's a 1-foot breaker from right to left. All you do is you putt it in the fringe. Nobody knows it. I've never seen anybody else do it. You just putt it right in the fringe, and it kicks it back left and then kicks it back right. You never, ever have to go left. But guys don't really know it. They're playing 15 feet of break, and they're trying to kill it on top, where even me and Willie could get up there, just kind of putt it right and let it feed down there. It's not that tough. So
that is that and to the listener, the number 2 green is all facing to the right. You can second shot, just keep your second shot to the right. Just blow it right anywhere, and you're basically great to every pin.
Yeah, that's awesome. Number 3, I think it's the best. It might be my favorite hole in golf. It's hard, but it's short.
Agreed.
Guys, there'll probably be a couple guys this week, maybe even drive the green. And I have one great story here to tell, and I don't want to rush through this one. I'll rush through some other holes. But when Bobby Jones was getting to the end of his life, he was having a really hard time holding his utensils to eat. And they were at the Champions Dinner in either 1969 or 1970. And Gary Player was helping him eat. And Gary has always wanted to ask him about number 3. Gary hated number 3. He didn't really know how to play number 3. He said, Bobby, obviously you designed the hole. I have a question for you. How are you supposed to birdie number 3? And Bobby looked right at him and said, Gary, you're not supposed to birdie number 3. And I love that comment so much. It's 350 yards the hole. And there are so many different ways to play. Weber and I lost the Masters one year. We played the right way and laid it back to the front left flag. Webb got a wind gust, landed 6 inches short of the green. We made 6. Other guys will drive it up there and just chip it to 45 feet or try to take on the hero shot. I think everything about that hole is genius. I do think it's fair, but it's also hard at the same time. If the wind's down, you can attack it. If the wind's up, you would pay money for a par. Number 4.
Wow.
Number 4 is the – yes. Yeah, and number 4 is the shortest drivable par 4 on the golf course. You can see it's 245 yards. So it's one of the shortest drivable par 4s. But once a year, every year, they're going to put it up on this front tee box. And I believe it was 2005 with VJ and I. It could have been one of those other years around there. But through 21 holes, we had a 5-shot lead. I believe we were 10 under par through 21. I think we shot 7 the first day. There's enough Google now that we'll be able to figure out exactly what that was. But it was a big lead, and he was playing perfect golf. We had won the week before in Houston. And we get to number 4, the pins all the way back here in this little section. And what you can't see back here is there's a downslope a foot over the green. If you pitch it there, it shoots into the trees behind the green. And I tried to talk VJ into hitting an 8-iron right here about 45 feet. And his exact words were, Paulie, just sit over there. I got this. He said, Big Daddy's got this. So there you go, Big Daddy. Over here.
Big Daddy.
And Big Daddy flushed the 7-iron right at it, literally right at it. It pitched a foot over the green, one hopped in the trees, and we made double. And it started a downward spiral. And we've already talked about obedience around this golf course, discipline around this golf course. And that's just another example. When I needed a perfect golf shot, it was perfectly flush. The wind switched barely in the air. It was only blowing 6 or 7 miles an hour. But if it switches from in to 25 degrees off the left, the ball is going to go too far. So just another
and the front
example.
Bunker's fine. Yep. Easy up
Number
and down.
5, I'm going to go, as much as I love number 3, I despise number 5. It is just, I think it's too long. It's 515 yards from all the way back. This green is diabolical, just to say the least. And they have the hardest pin in all of golf that sits 3 over this big monster ridge here. If you haven't been to Augusta National, it's about 6 feet the tier. And it's just brutal. Webb and I got to the point that we were so sick of trying to hold 5-irons, we started hitting 3-woods off the tee, and we would hit 5-wood or hybrid into the green, knowing that anything around the green was going to be the same. And we took these bunkers out of play. Both bunkers are a layup 100% of the time. You cannot get out of there. It's a wedge or a 9-iron. We practiced a hybrid out of this one year, Webb. I don't know if you remember hybrid or 5-iron.
I remember.
Bank it off the bunker and get it up by the green. It worked like once or twice and didn't work once or twice, so we got done with that one really fast. But it's definitely a great short par 5. We got drivable par 4 on number 4 to short par 5.
Real quick, number 5, that pin he's talking about, it is the hardest pin in golf for sure, and it's usually there Thursday or Friday. One year we were playing Freddie Couples. We birdied 1, 2, and 3. We par 4. We get to 5. I pulled my second shot. We're pin high to that pin. Now, if you're playing with your buddies, you're going to try to hit it gimmies every time. And it's not that hard, but if you miss it a yard right on your chip, it'll go off the green.
And it's a 30-foot chip from one of the best chippers in the world.
And it's a very easy chip. But what you should do, what Tiger would have done, what Scotty would have done, they would have hit it to 8 to 10 feet every time and try to make your uphill par putt. Well, I got a little careless, try to hit it close, and I miss it a little right, goes off the green, end up 3-putting from there from 40 feet. So you go from 3 under and leading on Thursday, all excited, to walking off 1 under, and you kind of feel like you're 2 over. So it's just so easy for that to get in there at Augusta.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I think it goes right back to what you said. Like, they're so good at golf. Ben and Webb and all these guys, they're so good at golf. He has the shot. That's not the point. Augusta wants you to miss it in the right spot. And he could have chipped it to 10 feet every single time. And the way he was playing, he probably would have made it. But it deflated the start. You know, you can have every pump-up speech you want, but there's something about the energy of a great start. And when you make a sloppy double like that, it's hard to kind of come back. And Webb has a cool stat. 20 consecutive rounds. He bettered the scoring average for that day in majors. It's the second longest streak in PGA Tour history. Tiger, I think, did it 21 times, and Weber's at 20. And one of the biggest reasons where we just had a theory was no doubles. And so it made it easy to talk him out of things, you know, when he was going through struggles like that. 6, we're going to run past. Ben's covered number 6 absolutely perfectly. You can see just a lot of notes there. 7 went from a hole that pre-renovation was one of the 3 easiest holes on the golf course. I still remember with VJ laying back with 3 wood so we would have lob wedge to be able to spin it. Now into the wind, Webb and I have hit 5-iron in there in the tournament before, off a downslope into the grain to a green that is 12 yards wide on the right-hand side. It has turned into a monster.
I agree, Paulie. The number 7, but the tee shot is like a bowling alley. You're hitting out of that chute, and you're like, man, I better not curve this thing because it's going to hit a tree. You know, in 60 yards, I'm going to be having 450 yards into this hole.
Right.
Yeah, and if you do pull it, you need numbers from the fairway on 3 to the green on this hole. That's just how easily you could have to go down that hole. It's very uncomfortable. Number 8 is a hole where, you know, into the wind, Weber and I will hit 5 wood off that tee and leave it short of the right bunker. We can't get home into the wind. Weber and I have done that a bunch of times. The right bunker's really tough. We've hit 5 wood off that tee, a half a dozen times, Weber?
Yeah.
5 wood or 3 wood, just knowing we're taking the bunker out of play. We can't get home. Why bring the bunker on and a pull on? And we've made birdie half the times that we've done it just because it makes the second shot so wide and you're still going to have a sand wedge or lob wedge in. And, you know, it's a green around the green. You can see all of my notes over on this side, basically saying, you know, the further pin high you get down the right, it's no good. Any miss left to a left pin is just complete junk. And then I have all of these sprinkler head numbers. We have to go get sprinkler head numbers from number 9 fairway to this green and then do depth numbers to these heads because you actually want to lay it down to the left pins as far right as you can so you can get a better angle and you don't have to deal with the hog's back that's sitting. It's actually an elephant's back sitting here in the middle.
It's an absolute genius hole, and you have to play opposites on the green. If the pin's left, you lay up right. If the pin's on the right, somehow you got to sneak it up the left to have an angle. Because when you have a back right pin or a middle right pin and you're to the right, to the listener, there's such a downslope there. You have literally 0 chance of getting the ball close. So opposites coming into the 3rd shot on number 8. It's a genius
Absolutely. Hole. And in the old days, down green, you could still hit a slice spinner to that right flag with the square grooves and the softer balls. Now into the grain with the firmer balls, no square grooves, you cannot hit that slice spinner from the right-hand side like Ben is talking about. So you want to etch it down the left-hand side, but you also don't want to go too far left because those trees jump in. And hey, Weber, real quick, we were talking about being patient. Can you give us the quick little rundown of the year we were even through 6 and shot your lowest score ever there?
Yeah, even through 6. We get to 7. Good drive. We're slightly into the wind. It's that Sunday pin that's front right where it's just a bowl. A lot of eagles there. I had 7-iron in, and I pulled it a little bit, and we're begging for it to catch the slope. It catches the slope, and you hear the noise you want to hear, which is the crowd getting excited, and then it goes in. So I made an eagle there. Go to 8. It's a front pin. I'm short right, but I'm pitching back into the wind, and I hit a little flop spinner, and it goes in for a little eagle. And, yeah, I found myself shooting 64 after a slow start. But that's kind of back to Paulie's point about a run. You know, if I'd been impatient through 6, had a chance at 2, had a chance at 3, it would have been real impatient, or easy to be impatient, but hung in there. And I do want to mention about 8. And, you know, if you're watching this, it's going to be downwind one day. You're going to see 10 guys or so hit it and fly the 315 bunker. And you're going to be tempted to think, oh, the hole is too short now. They need to lengthen it. No, wrong. Here's what all they have to do to fix it. You flip the first bunker in front of the second. And so you make it a 335 cover. And so now we're hitting the same shot as they did 50 years ago. It's adjusted the right way. So now Bryson, if he hits a push, he's not covering. Rory, if he hits a push, he's not covering. But keep in mind this week, there will be guys. I mean, Justin Rose did it. Sergio did it the year he won. They both covered the bunker on 8, and I think they both hit 5-iron in. But you don't need to lengthen 8. It's plenty long. You just got to appropriate the bunkers the right way.
Dude, my only gripe with Augusta National is exactly that. It's the same story on 1, and it's the same story on 5, and it's the same story on 8. It favors the longer hitters. And 2, because you can cut; those guys can cover. So a guy like Webb is forced to hit a 5 wood now against Bryson DeChambeau's driver. We've actually given him a greater advantage, not a lesser one.
The Tiger proofing turned into a Tiger helping. You know what I mean?
It did.
That's right.
Is what really they did.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked 9. Paulie, take us into the back 9 because everybody's going to be locked in on back 9. So, and if you want to give one nugget on 9, I know Webb talked about it.
I'm going to give just quick. So number 9, you can see all of this junk that I have here. All of that is as we go down that fairway, the uphill gets more. And there's a formula we try to use. If you're off a 3-degree downslope and the uphill is 4 uphill, it'll actually play 7 uphill. Just like reverse, if it's 5 yards uphill, but you're hitting off a 5-degree upslope, it'll play 0 uphill. I actually made that mistake with Weber. I don't know if it was at Tampa or where it was, but I gave him 4 uphill, but we were hitting off a straight upslope, and I forgot that zeroes out. You use the percentage of upslope you're hitting off of with the percentage of upslope that it is, and that'll negate. Versus here, I'll play like 8 yards uphill from down here because they're launching it so low into an upslope. So those are just extra
in the air shorter.
Yep, those are just extra reminders for me as you're going through there to make sure I don't make those mistakes. And mistakes
speaking
like
of
that,
downslopes, 10's one of the biggest downslopes of the year.
Brutal downslope.
Yes, absolutely. So 10 as you're going through this big ridge that's running here in between the fairway. Up here, it's not as much down. Down here, there's going to be more down. And obviously, it's a fairway. You kind of would like to miss it up here. However, then you're going to have an extra 30 yards in, and all the boys would still rather have 2 less clubs in from the bottom side of the hill. And, people don't realize to these right pins, the ball's above your feet. The ball's into the green. A lot of times it's into off the right there. You don't want to miss right. But if your ball's turning, you can land it in the middle of the green and have it feed all the way down here into the rough by the trees on this side on a ball that lands in the middle of the green. So it's just another requirement that Augusta asks of you. Don't just hit it on line. I don't want it turning as it gets in there either. And thankfully, these guys have to play it and not me because there's so much going on.
And Paulie, a lot of guys hit 3-wood on 10. Tell the listeners what's the appropriate amount of hook that the guys. And notice I didn't say draw. You got to hook it.
So glad you're bringing this up because one of the things that shocked me most the first time I saw it was how far left you have to hit that tee shot.
Yes.
Yep.
So, they've lengthened that hole yet again. I think it's 510 yards now. And so with a 3-wood now, you don't have to hook it as much as you used to. You still do have to turn it. I would say it's a under control pull hook. Is that right, Ben?
Yeah.
Webb,
yeah.
I would say when you think you've overhooked it, you're in the left center of the fairway. If you're like, oh my gosh, that was way too much. That's in the left trees. When that's in the left trees, you're still in the fairway. When you go like, that's not even a normal golf shot. Like, okay, that's out of bounds. Okay, now you're finally in the left trees. Yeah,
that's right.
Everything Ben just said is right. And unfortunately, they had an ice storm there. They lost a lot of trees. So you'll see quite a few drivers being hit now into the wind on that hole because guys can hit it over the corner tree. But when you see 3-wood, you're seeing guys that want to hit that mid-height. I do call it a purposeful pull, kind of that purposeful pull, low hook, so it'll land on the downslope. This week, they shouldn't have a whole lot of mud, but mud's usually an issue there. So you want to hit that 3-wood lower because if you do hit driver, you'll get a ton of mud on the ball, and you do not want mud going into that golf hole.
No. Nope.
Number 11, man,
Short
it
hole.
is a genius hole. I don't really like it, and I know I'm probably going to get kicked off property for any future for saying I don't really like it. They've made it so much harder than it used to be.
I know.
It is now from all the way back. Let me see. From all the way back, it is now 527 from the tips. Remember, into the grain fairways so they don't roll into the wind. When I played there, I hit 3-wood in. Weber's hit 5-wood in there before. And what they've done is, if you ever watched Larry Mize, go back and watch his chip in. So over here, this slope used to only be a 3-foot embankment. So when you hear Hogan said if he ever hit the green, he knew he pulled it. It's because from over here, it used to be a fairly simple play comparatively. Mm-hmm. What they did in the redo now, this is now a 5.5-foot embankment, a foot off the right-hand side. So the better shot you hit, the ball actually goes further away from the green. So if you miss this green by a foot, it'll shoot way right and go on a major downslope. I got to the point where I actually had guys aim way more right, because if you land it way up here, it'll trickle down and finish on a flat or an upslope. So if you know you're in a position where it's just an awkward shot or it's a long way in, no. We're going to aim further right. We're going to go 10 yards right of the green, knowing that if I pull it, you might pull off a miracle. If you hit your target, you'll finish on an upslope or a flat, which is a much easier play to all the pins. And I think everyone would agree. I think if you could get through and average that hole at 4.25, you definitely wouldn't play it. I think even 4.5, you might just run the number 12. Ben and Webb, what do y'all think there?
I'll say 11, the second shot at 11, you're hitting a 5-iron to the green is well down below you, so the ball's in the air a long time, so there's more time to curve offline. But it is the most iconic look in the history of golf with that view and 12 green and people on 12 tee and the crowd just all up on the hill. I mean, it's just so iconic. And seeing 13 tee, it's just so iconic, and it is way too hard of a golf shot.
Yeah, it's so much fun caddying around Augusta National for exactly that same reason. I get to take it. Hey, bud, it's just a 4-iron, not the right French. Hey, look at the flowers. Oh, man. Hey, hon, how you doing? Nice to see you, everybody. I'll let Webb and Ben.
You just want to stop in for a $2 pimento cheese up there. They're all having the best time with a little Miller Lite. I mean, that's what you want to do.
Webb will tell you this. I eat 7 Snicker bars a year. I have one every day at Augusta National. That's a great Snicker bar hole for me on that one. Going through there.
And here's the thing about chipping at Augusta. So everybody sees it as it's in perfect condition, which it is, but they're very crafty. You've heard Paulie or Ben mention on this podcast today how they comb it, they groom it into the grain. So here's the deal. It's just long enough. They leave it just long enough where the balls will sit down a little bit around the green. So though the lie looks perfect, it's nestled down just a little bit, and the grass is just long enough to actually play into the grain. So here's the deal. If you're playing Augusta in the morning, like the morning tee times, we talk about this a lot, Paulie, or it's a little rainy, a little misty, chipping's actually very easy. The ball skips through that overseeded ryegrass with ease.
True.
You go when it's dry, like this week, they're going to have no rain. Trying to bump these shots like 11, you'll see so many guys miss it where Paulie's talking about. And to the right pins, you want to bump it a little bit. It's so hard because when you bump it, as soon as it lands, it's landing in sticky overseeded rye.
Yeah, it's like Japanese sticky rice.
It is. It's a guess on how the ball is going to react.
That's what I thought right now.
Chipping becomes a lot harder as the grass gets drier.
Yeah. Number 3 in the morning is such a simple play. Driver off the tee and skip it on the green, versus in the afternoon it can be harder.
Yep.
Hey, Paulie, tell us, I really want you to emphasize now that we're at 12. So I want you to talk about the wind, but then I also want you to tell the listener where these guys are trying to hit the ball to that Sunday pin. A lot of people don't realize you got 9-iron in your hand and they hit it to 40 feet and you think it's anticlimactic. I just want you to caddy our way through that hole for us.
Yeah. So a couple of great stories. Number one of my first years caddying there, we were out with Nick Faldo and Fanny, which was his caddy for a long time. Faldo, I think, had already won back-to-back and had won another one in 96, I believe. So he's a 3-time winner. And I'm out with VJ, who was the defending champ. And Faldo said there's 2 things about number 12. You got to look at the flag on top of the clubhouse when you're making the turn. So you have to know where that flag was when you made the turn, because you're going to get through here, and on 10, 11, and 12, you're going to have 5 different wind directions. So you got to know where it's supposed to be to start with. And then Nick said something that VJ actually took up on, which was if you get to 12 and the flag is doing what it was doing on top of the clubhouse at number 9, hit faster than hit. Every Bob Rotella pre-shot routine goes out the window. You get your number and you hit that golf ball as fast as you can, because you know now it's the proper wind. If you get there and it's opposite, and heaven forbid if the flag on the top of the clubhouse and 11 are doing one thing and 12 is doing the other, just do something. Do something. Wait for the flag to switch on 12. Act like you got to eat a burger. Act like you got to have a drink of water. Act like you're disgusted to pit. All you're doing is, and as soon as it changes, you hit. So VJ, every year they would hit so fast, and everybody I've worked for there, knock on wood, has had a lot of success because of this kind of principle. And the second thing is, never, ever hit something hard. Never hit something hard. So you practice your off speeders, because off speeders will have less spin.
Yeah.
So if the wind does come through there and change, you want the less spin. So you get there, you obviously have your iconic pin here that's going to be there on Sunday. 2019 is one of the greatest examples of what to do and not to do. We were in the next to last group. We were paired with Brooks Koepka and Ian Poulter. And Brooks was tied for
Franny
the lead.
Molinari.
Yep. We were with Poulter and Koepka. Koepka was tied for the lead. I think Poulter was one back. And they both hit perfect golf shots. The wind got both of them. They both went in the water. We were third to hit, and Weber hit it right over here about 52 feet.
Hey, and pause real quick. This is what this golf course does to your brain. Brooks hit first, hit 9-iron, flushed it. I said, he just made this. Lands a yard short on the bank, spins back in the water. Poulter is hitting second, and I'm the same yardage as Poulter. He hits 8, flushes it a yard left of the hole. I'm like, well, he just hit it to gimmies. Yard short, water. So I go back to Paulie. I say, Paulie, Poulter just flushed that. What are we doing here? And I remember your exact words. You said, buddy, look at the numbers. The numbers aren't lying. He goes, all you have to do is hit this 8-iron and just keep it below the trees for me. And so the power of a caddy's confidence in what we're doing, I literally went from scared and not knowing what to do to, oh, yeah, if I just keep it below the trees, it's perfect. And sure enough, I aimed it 20 feet left of the hole, hit a super low 8-iron, and it ended up on the back fringe perfect 30 feet away. But it was an amazing moment, because those situations actually make you feel like you're crazy. Like, what are we doing? What are we hitting? I'm not hitting 7. Yeah. It's 152 hole, you know?
But the group behind us was Molinari, who I believe was the number 1 ranked player in the world at that time and definitely the hottest golfer in the world. And Tony Finau right behind him. And I think Frankie might have had a 2-shot lead at this time. But Frankie hit it in the water, what looked like a miss hit for sure. I think he was probably trying to go the right direction. Freddie Couples talked about the year his ball stayed up. He was aiming in the right spot, but he said his third eye made him push it over to that pin. And I think that's kind of what Frankie did. And then Finau hit it in the water. And then where did Woods hit it? Woods hit it 50 feet again over on the left-hand side. And he won the golf tournament on that hole.
Frankie Molinari, pine cone. This is the pine cone.
And then, he pine coned it on number 15. But again, everything we keep talking about is that, can you stay obedient? Can you stay disciplined? This is what I'm doing. And, I think Frankie, he was hitting it so good, I don't think he had aimed that far away from a flag in probably a couple of years. That's how good Weber, we used to kind of mock him. Like, I'm so mad I hit it a foot left of the target. But, that's what he did, and I think it was hard for him to aim over it at that flag.
Yeah. And then Tiger Woods, we got to mention, as we're on this rant, I mean, to win tournaments, you got to get some breaks. How about his break on 13 off the tee? Tiger Woods, shout out to kick off the trees.
Yes, absolutely. And the bad break by Frankie hitting the pine cone on 15. You need some luck in this game. There's no doubt about it. 13's a hole that's changed dramatically over the years. Used to be everyone just hit a 3-wood. They lost all of these trees. And Augusta's answer was they added 50 yards to the hole. It's been a little bit sad. I worked for Tom Kim there the last couple of years, and we couldn't get home half the time there. And it just it makes it a little sad for me. Into the wind, half the field won't be able to get home. I just wish they would have replanted some of the trees or moved the tee box left. But
I don't know how much Augusta spent buying that 50 yards back from Augusta Country Club, but it was probably $100 million.
Yes. I heard 35 million. Who knows? It could have been way more than that.
Who knows?
Augusta Country Club definitely had their kahunas on that one. But, it is what it is. They've moved it. It's a driver for most of the guys now, unless it gets downwind. It's a much tighter tee shot now, and only the lefties have a big advantage on that golf hole. It's hard to turn any driver nowadays. So you'll see a lot of guys just kind of purposely hitting it in the pine straw. right up here. And if they pull it, it's great. And if not, they'll hit their 5 irons in there. The hardest second shot in golf for sure, as far as getting it on the green, way above your feet, long iron to mid iron. Anything on the green is a heck of a golf shot. And anything
can't miss left, can't miss right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Left, at least you have a play. Obviously, right, you're going to be begging for a 5.
Pause for this commercial break. Let me tell the story real quick. Remember how they do finances at Augusta National is I hear the chairman stands up and says to Mr. Finance Committee, I'd like you to give a report for, our financial situation for the year. And he stands up, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to inform the membership that we have made more money than we've spent. And that'll be all, sir. And he sits down.
I love that. What were you going to say, Willie?
I was just going to go back to Rory's Masters last year with the wedge in his hand on 13. And to that middle right pin, Webb and I and Ben were all three just baffled because we're like, dude, if you aim 15 to 18 feet left of the hole and you push it, you hit it to 6 feet. And if you pull it, you catch the slope and it comes back down to about 8 feet. And if you hit it where you're supposed to, then you got a 15-footer. So, Paulie, what were you thinking?
I think it goes right back, though. It goes right back to language. Rory's never had that shot, ever. He's never been there. It's the first time he's ever had. If you watch Rory, when he saw the leaderboard from 11 to 12, his whole personality changed. His face went from joyful and energetic to he was trying to control his emotions. He saw he had a 5-shot lead. He didn't know where he stood. 3-wood off the tee. He's never done that on 13. I don't mind the play. He drove it horrifically that last day. If you go back, I think he only hit 2 fairways with driver until it really mattered. Then he striked both of them in regulation and the playoff on 18. But he drove it bad. Then he laid up. And that's one of those things like Harry and Rory are so good. And Harry is the best caddy in the world for Rory McIlroy. They are close. They are tight. They know each other. But I think maybe Harry's a little bit lack of experience in that moment too. You had to go in and paint a picture for Rory there. Because Rory's over that ball, he's just thinking, hit it left.
Hey, Paulie.
He's never thought that in his entire life. Just hit it left.
Hey, Paulie, will you take us into what you would have done in that moment? So, give
absolutely.
the listeners 30 seconds. What exactly would you say?
Yeah, so there's a great tree to aim at back there. I've been like, hey, bud, I call it player first language. I try to get them to say the right thing first. Hey, bud, what's your target here? And if he just said a little left of it, I said, absolutely not. See the pine tree back there? I want you to start it there and draw it a yard off of that. We're going to try to land it. See, we have 71 hole. We're going to try to land it 5 past 76. And we're going to start it at that pine tree and draw it off that pine tree. Paint a picture for them. These guys are all incredible artists, especially Rory. He hits it high. He hits it low. He hooks it. He cuts it. He does everything with the golf ball. And so you have to paint a clear picture for what they're trying to do. And Rory's a Bob Rotella guy, so that's even more so about picking out small targets. It was a mistake there. He did it 2 more times later in that round. Just kind of blanking out on the easier golf shots where he made his mistake. Run up to, 18. He can't hit the gap wedge in the right bunker. It's impossible. It's the worst gap wedge he's ever hit in his life. But what was he thinking? Don't hit it left. What was he thinking on 13? Don't hit it right. And so he produced shots that had to do with him not having a mental image. On 18, I would have said, aim it left edge of the bunker and hit me a roasted draw that comes down on the right edge of that tower back there. But he knew he won the Masters. He had 52 in there and on 13. So you just have to get unbelievably descriptive and bring out the artist in them instead of saying, just give me a stroke. No, give me a painted stroke that you're doing.
I've always said that where a caddy can be his best self to aid the player is when things, whether it's down the stretch or you're playing a day as 25-mile-an-hour wind, and the player's already thinking so much. So if the caddy can almost think for him, then it just simplifies everything for a player. If I go hit a wedge on 7 here at Quail Hollow today, there's not going to be much thought in my head. But if I got a wedge on Sunday at Augusta on 13, it's still not that hard of a shot, but a caddy's going to be there to reduce the noise in my head and give me something kind of to single focus on.
I just double down on exactly what you said. When that language goes back and forth between you and the caddy, and Paul, you're saying it absolutely incredible. And for the listener, it's so fun. You literally like, there's all this outside noise. Your brain's going everywhere. You're nervous as can be. But when there's that language, that communication with you and your caddy's saying a draw off that tree, it doesn't make sense that you're aiming 13 feet left of the hole from 71 yards. It does not make sense. But you learn to trust the voice, right? And that moment of, whether you're super nervous on a putt and you just say something to your caddy has this perspective that you don't have in the moment. And caddies recognize that. And the best caddies recognize the change of body language, the change in, the face, whatever it is, those little recognitions. And so when you just trust that voice of your caddy and you're like, okay, and you start to just, you celebrate, and then your caddy, informs it and secures it with great shot. Not the ball didn't even end up in a great spot to the crowd, but to the player and caddy, you have your own language. You're like, yes, that's what we're trying to do. Yes, we're not going to miss any short sides, right? So that you learn to trust that voice, and it's just a great rhythm you get in with your caddy in those moments when it's clutch, it's difficult. There's all this outside pull, but it's just the two of you out there and you're just pushing through.
I love that so much, Ben. I really do. Like you said, I actually want the players to say great shot out loud when it finishes 23 feet from the hole, when that's where you're trying to go. Say it, because your body might not understand it. Because growing up at 23 feet with a lob wedge, you would go straight to the range and go practice.
Correct.
So you got to remind us. I know we're getting lower on time. We're going to skip 14, dog leg left. Brutal green, front right flag. You'll see a lot of guys hit it over the green almost on purpose. You'd rather be over the green
great spot to be
yards to the front right flag than short of the green putting. 15, it's such a hard shot. I was looking at Jack hit a 1-iron in there the other day, how hard it is. But back to Rory. I think we'll all remember the shot Rory hit there last year. That was the greatest thing that could have happened to Rory McIlroy, was him hooking it behind those trees. Because all of a sudden now, it wasn't a stock shot from the middle of the fairway. It was a shot like, oh, I'm a kid again. I am 18 years old. I am going to hook this thing 35 yards. And it is one shot. It's one shot only. I am an artist. It was the greatest thing that could have happened to him in that moment. And he hit one of the great shots in Masters history, without a doubt.
Yeah. Same idea as Bubba in the trees on 10.
Yes. It was the greatest thing that could have happened, better than the middle of the fairway. 15's also the greatest shot I've ever seen at Augusta in my group. I didn't see it, but it was the greatest shot I've ever seen. Q Weber, take over real quick.
Yeah, so this is really funny. So it's a Friday. Play was delayed Thursday, so we're all backed up. We know Friday when I go out, we're not going to be able to get the round done because of darkness. Paulie looks at his forecast for Saturday morning, and we got a north wind, which means into the wind on 15 degrees cooler. There's no chance we're going to be able to get home in 2.
Are you kidding me? Looking at tomorrow's forecast wind direction. That's caddying. That's caddying.
But Friday,
your player.
That is.
But Friday, if we can just hit the tee shot, we're straight downwind. It's 75 degrees. We'll be able to get home. So sure enough, we're watching the clock on 14. We see the rules official. One of us goes over to hit the tee shot on 15. I'm playing with Leishman and Hideki Matsuyama. We get our tee shots off. They hadn't blown the horn yet. Well, the pin's all the way left, and we get up there. I'm in the fairway. We got 5 wood in, perfect number. Can barely see the Augusta flag. I yell over to Stephen Cox. I said, when are you blowing the horn? He goes, in about 2 minutes. You better hurry up. So all of a sudden I hit, and Paulie goes, where is it? I go, Paulie, I know 2 things. I said, I know 2 things, buddy. I pulled it a little bit, and I flushed it. That's all I know. So, y'all, then Hideki hits next. Hideki's leaning left like he hit it way right. Okay, I know where his is to the right. And then Leash hits, and he's leaning a little left as well, so he's a little right. So get up there. I see Hideki's well right of the green. I see a ball 55 feet right of the hole. I know it's not my ball. And, y'all, we're walking. We're doing that fast walk, right? And we're like, we have no idea
where is it?
It's like hide and seek.
And I think it's over because I hammered it, but I hope it's on. All of a sudden, y'all, I see this ball 3 feet right of the hole, and I hammer Paulie right in the chest.
But I still have a bruise 7 years later. When I mean he hammered me, it was like he hit me so hard. Like, what are you doing?
He didn't know why. He goes, what are you doing? I said, buddy, we're 3 feet. He was kind of mad. He was kind of excited.
Best shot you never saw.
I marked my ball. That's right.
Best shot I never saw.
I hit a few 3-footers the next morning on the putting green, right center putt, and made my eagle.
That's so
made his
good.
eagle, and away we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
16,
To reiterate, Paulie, from earlier, 15 is probably the hardest wedge shot of the year. Would you agree?
There's nothing like it. And like you actually want it to be into the wind. If it's downwind, you want to do everything you can to hit a decent drive, just so you can get it anywhere around the green, because you're trying to make par. I know it's eagle hole, birdie hole, blah, blah, whatever. You're trying to not make 6 or 7 on that golf hole. Like, that's my mindset.
Wow.
And
that's
so
a
when you have
comforting
to lay
thought
up
to a player.
downwind, it is so difficult downwind to hit that 80 or 90 yard wedge shot. You go way right. You're trying to use the fatter part of the green. Like, if you look at it, like literally downwind, even if this is the pin way over here on this side, you're trying to hit it to the fat part of the green. You want them somehow to have a little draw spin, so it's coming in. So, hey, what I want you to do is hit a soft draw from a downgrain downhill lie downwind. Hey, good luck, man. It sounds pretty easy to me. On Golden Tee, I can just do this to the track ball and it'll feed right on in there. But like, it's just into the wind, it's a little easier just because they don't have to shape it as much and you can use the fat part of the green. But they're not trying to hit that wedge shot close most of the time. They're trying to hit it to 25 feet, make your par, and move on to the next hole. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I know you'd take 4.5. You wouldn't take 4.75, would you?
No, because you're trying to win the golf tournament. Yeah.
But you take 4 or 5 and go to the next hole.
Yeah, like to win the golf tournament, you got to play the par 5s there, at least 8 under par.
Agreed.
The history has shown probably 10 under more like to win. And so, you have to still take your chances hitting a good drive. And y'all are good enough that we can land it on the green and let it trickle over and hopefully make a couple of birdies there.
Yeah. 16, one of the great par 3s in golf.
It's incredible. I don't think I would change anything about the hole.
Everyone talks about that back
really
left pin, but that right pin is just like I talked about in number 6. It's an island up there, but you're so close. It's a 9-iron, boys. Like, I'm going to get it on top of there. And when you do and you miss it to the right, you are Deadsville. Like, you need to be 39 feet from the left, putting up at it, and you're going to 2-putt 96% of the time. Like, but it's so tempting. That sums up Augusta National for me in so many ways.
There's two right pins. They've changed one, Ben. So front right now, this is a good miss. They've actually sloped everything here toward the green to the front right flag. And so you can actually miss it right, and it's a straight uphill putt from here. So it's actually a pin now that we go a yard right of. They've made it, I think, more fair. I think they probably went through the back right pin is brutal. If you miss it in the right bunker, I don't care who you are, you can't really keep it on top. And you'll see guys try to be short of this bunker to the back right flag. So if they push it, they can get up and down. If they barely get in the bunker, they can keep it on top. And if they do pull it down the left, it's that putt that Ben's talking about. It's very similar to number 6, which is what Ben. But down here, you want to have a chance to make a 1. But if you leave it on top, you're going to have a 7 or 8 footer for par. And then obviously the big chip in from Tiger. And Davis did it at another point, but Davis's celebration was terrible. Go back and watch it if you have a chance.
Tiger
wasn't great either.
Didn't make good contact on the par 5.
No, it was kind of slapping all over the place. Incredible there. Yeah.
Miss hit.
Yeah, miss hit. 17.
Great hole.
It's a good hole. It's a hard hole, but it's a very fair hole. When they removed Eisenhower Tree, which used to be right over in here, they made the hole infinitely harder. They lengthened it by about 25 yards, and they pinched the fairway in, and they added 15 trees down the left-hand side. So now if you pull it even into the fairway, you have to hit a 20-yard hook from the fairway around the trees. When they lost Eisenhower Tree, they needed to do something they thought to make it. It's now a very tight driving hole. If you do it a good drive, a birdie opportunity. But Webb, do you want to tell your story to the right flag with a right to left win?
Absolutely. Yep. Playing with Zach Johnson another year on Saturday. Get to 16 front right pin. It's just a cut 8-iron. That the heel got to the ball quicker for some reason, which makes the ball go dead right. It's called a shank. So shanked it on 16, made a great up and down for bogey, by the way. So we get to 17, winds 20 miles an hour right to left, middle right pin. Paulie gives me the number. It's a perfect cut 8-iron. Paulie goes, buddy, what do you think about that draw 9? I said, buddy, the pin's on the right, and there's a 20-mile-an-hour right to left wind. What are you talking about? And you go, buddy,
Are we
I
on the
just
same
think if you
hole?
aim it a little right of the hole, let's just hit that draw. And I was so confused. I remember looking up at the green, shaking my head. I'm like, the best I can do with the 9-iron is 45 feet. What are you talking about? And you lean in and you whisper because there's cameras everywhere. You go, well, buddy, you just hit a shank on the hole before with the cut 8. Are you sure you want to hit a cut 8? I said, man, get away from me. I'm hitting the cut 8. Where do you think I hit it? Toe 8-iron, 48 feet long left. Got my 2-putt.
Hey, Paulie really painted a picture there, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, I painted the exact wrong picture. Well, at Memorial the year before, the same thing happened. He shanked it the day before on number 12 at Memorial. And the next day was a perfect cut 7. And he leans it. He goes, there is zero chance I'm hitting a cut 7. I'm like, okay, I learned he doesn't want to hit the same shot. But this time he had a great picture. So I painted a bad one for him. I just thought, I want you to think the way I would be thinking. Oh, man. 18, I have nothing but good things to say about this golf one. What's that? Yeah, bring us home. 18, I have nothing but good things to say. I think the 18th hole should challenge everyone. I think it should be a nerve-wracking hole. I think it should be uncomfortable. 18 fits every single one of those things. The 2 bunkers down the left-hand side have their own, quandaries. They puff the sand up in fairway bunkers, so it's never really that clean of a lie. You'd like to be short of them, but if you lay back, you have more club in. One of my favorite stories, Weber and I, we thought in 2019 if we made birdie, we had a chance for a playoff. Webb hit a great drive down there. What were we in between, Weber? 8 and 9 iron?
8 and 9 iron.
Yeah, and I'll let you take it over again, but it's a hole that you can make a birdie, but it's also a hole that I've had some unfortunate finishes on Friday to miss the cut. I'll let you take over, Weber.
You tell it, buddy. You tell it.
Well, so we go in. It's a perfect 8-iron. It's what you're supposed to hit, but 8-iron, you're not going to make birdie. It's the front left flag. It's downwind, and you need spin. If you hit 8-iron, it goes at the hole. It's going to go to the top tier. So you're just trying to chip it and go 22 feet, use the backstop. So I just came in. I was like, Weber, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we have a chance to win the Masters. We don't know how many of these chances we're going to get. I think you have to hit a 9-iron. And he's like, Paulie, I don't think I can get it there. And I went through the numbers. I'm like, if you hit a solid one, you can cover by 2 yards. And I'm like, it's the only chance we have to make birdie. If 8-iron goes at the flag, it's going to go to the top tier. If you hit it right, it's going to be 25 feet. The only chance is 9-iron. I know you have the shot. I've seen you do it before. Into the grain. It's going to spin more. You have a chance. And he's like, you're right. We're not making birdie with 8-iron, so I'm going to do it. And it's kind of the dream and the nervousness. He hits this 9-iron absolutely perfect, and it's coming down a foot left of the hole, which is the longest carry. I just remember in the air, like, ball, please just go. Because at Augusta, if you come up a foot short at Augusta in the lips, they're concrete. They do it so balls don't plug. So if it hits there, it's going to go way back in the bunker, and the sand is going to build up behind the ball. It's going to be running backwards. So people don't realize that when the ball runs backwards in the bunker, it builds sand up behind it. So it's going to play a half-buried shot. You're going to make bogey. And this thing landed a yard on and went in there to about 7 feet. And one of the great things ever, Weber had it left edge. I had it inside right, and he played it straight and made it to give us a chance to win. We ended up losing by 2. Tiger won in 19, but finished 5th. And it's a great story. It's one of my favorite finishing holes, probably my favorite finishing hole in golf. I feel like it's fair. It gives you a birdie opportunity, but you still have to do great things to make birdie. It's the greatest scene. They're 15 deep. It doesn't matter who you are, how much someone's rooting for the other guy to win. If you win, they're going to applaud you like a true Masters champ. Incredible finish, incredible hole.
So much fun. Paulie, thanks for taking us through that golf course.
Absolutely.
Listeners, I hope that is an encouragement to you as you go into the weekend. You got a little inside scoop. All right, let's close quickly. Paulie, we pick each week. Pick a winner. If you pick the winner right, it's $500 to a charity of your choice. If you get a top 5, it's $100 to a charity of your choice. Tell us about the Tesori Foundation, and then you get the honor for first pick.
Yeah. been so fortunate. We started the Tesori Family Foundation in 2009. I always wanted to build a foundation one day to help those in need, and I wanted to wait till I had enough money to do so. I think that was just a cop-out, and my wife came in and said, no, you change one life first and you build from there. And here we are 17 years later. We've given back over $3 million now back to not only local charities, but nationwide charities. We started the All-Star Kids Clinics. We've done over 60 now, where we do one-on-one instruction with kids with special needs between the ages of 8 and 18. We've done it throughout the entire country. It has been so special to us. We have 6 other programs that we're doing. We're about to build the world's largest fully inclusive playground. My wife just screamed in the background. It is going to be kind of our foundation's legacy. It's going to be a $6 million or so thing. We're going in with the Tim Tebow Foundation, and also Daniel Murphy and his company, who's a MLB guy locally as well. We're going to join with 2 other foundations and the city of Jacksonville, and we're going to make a fully inclusive, massive playground here in Jacksonville, and that's going to be the first. And we're hoping to do dozens by the time we're done. So we're fully excited about that. You can check us out, TesoriFamilyFoundation.org. We love the opportunity to give back. We get way more joy out of it than those that we're helping.
That's cool. All right, who are you picking?
So I hate picking guys that everybody else is going to probably pick, but I want to give my reason. I'm going with Ludd. He's obviously playing amazing. I feel like this is the same story from Rory back in 2011, where he lost the lead at Augusta, and then he won Congressional. Ludd's not driving it great, and that is the least important stat at Augusta National. His iron play has been beyond elite. He hits high, spinny bombs into every green. His long irons go to the moon. You have to be able to be great at Augusta National doing it. I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to win by 5. I think it's going to be a week where he is coronated as being an elite player. I think he will talk about afterwards what he learned, not only from TPC, but even last week at San Antonio, where he had another chance to win.
Man, Weber.
John Rahm.
Benjamin.
I'm going off the reservation, but I get 2 because I'm going off the reservation. Ready? Well, I'll just take my Siwoo. Strokes gained approach is number 2 right now, and he's a flusher. I think he's going to have a great week.
Yeah. Wow. Does that mean I get Scotty Scheffler?
I mean,
yes.
I'm just giving them to you.
Okay, I'll take Scheffler. I'll take Scheffler and DeChambeau. Pass it back to Ben.
Oh, well, I get Lefty. I get McIntyre.
Whoa.
Well, you're not taking McIntyre, Ben. You know that. Let him have him.
Yeah. You
can have McIntyre. Did I miss that part?
No, he didn't.
Hideki. I'll take Hideki.
All right, I'll take Damon D. Cameron Young.
That's a great pick.
Okay, Bobby Mack for Paulie.
Nobody picked Rory. Sorry, Rory.
Yeah,
you know he had his deal last year. Yeah. All right, Paulie. Final thought. Obviously we deep dive on golf, but maybe one encouraging spiritual thought for you lately as we close out the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always have to be a little careful when I'm trying to compare golf to the greatest news of all time, which is the cross. I get emotional talking about it. But in golf, you go out and there's never been a perfect round of golf. Jim Furyk's 58, he was 11 under through 12 at Hartford, and he parred the easiest hole in the golf course, number 13, and he parred the third easiest hole in the golf course, number 15, and he shot 58. And, that'll be as close to perfect as we'll see. But it's so far from perfect. He's that could have been 55. And nothing about golf is perfect. But we serve such a perfect God that there's so many similarities, golf and life, that every round of golf will have trials and tribulations, every one of them. It does not matter what happens. There's going to be every great round of golf has still had tons of frustration, tons of a bad break here or there, and trials and tribulation. But in life, we get a promise from the Lord. And there's this word, tharseo. Is that said right? Tharseo? But it's a promise from the Lord that, we know that confidence comes in golf from within about all your practice and preparation, but our confidence internally comes from the fact that death has been defeated. The
Mhm.
grave could not hold our Savior in the world. And that Tharseo
That's
means we
right.
have a confidence from within that doesn't come from our own situation, doesn't come from our own well-being, it doesn't come from our practice, our obedience, our our um our work that we've done. It comes from the fact that we serve a perfect and loving God, and we have a perfect
Mhm.
and loving Savior who died on the cross for our sins. So we can take confidence not in the work that we've done, which you can in golf, the work that Webb's put in, that Ben's put in. He's going to win on the senior tour soon. Webb's going to win on the PGA Tour again soon. They're going to put a ton of work and effort into that. However, we can take confidence that death has been defeated. If the
Mhm.
grave is empty, anything's possible. We can put all of our hope, and that's what that word Tharseo means. It doesn't mean confidence from within, from our own doing. It means that he has already done all the work for us. All we have to do is have faith in him, and that's been done. And so I think trying to sit on that fact that while golf and life has the tribulation and trial part the same, that the
Mhm.
difference is in life, someone's already done all of the work for us, and we have to rest in that, and we have to run that race as obediently as we can and as
Yep.
thankfully as we can all the way to the end. That's my little tidbit.
And Paulie, one quick follow up. You're one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest worker, that on the PGA Tour. And there's a lot of people listening to this who love the Lord or walk with the Lord for the first time, and a lot of times they get confused how faith in Jesus has anything to do with their work going into the office. How does your faith, your love for Jesus, how does that influence your work ethic? Because as Christians, we believe we should be the hardest workers, but why? What's that link that you could help people
Yeah, that's
understand
great.
that?
Well, biblically, there's talk about the aroma of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like, first of all, that aroma of Christ and everything that you do, it should just be oozing out of your pores. So,
Mm-hmm.
hard work is part of that. The first commandment that Adam was given was to till the land. So it was work. And we were given work as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And not a gift for our own doing, but a gift as a platform from the Lord. And it does not matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're doing
Mm-hmm.
what we all get to do or, what William does in a pastoral role, what Webb and Ben does in a professional role, what I do in a caddy, what my wife does in nonprofits. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There is that platform that's been given to you. It is a gift. And so
Mm-hmm.
trying to use that platform to work hard, it's something that you can control. I think the hard part is sometimes we get that confused with our identity. I still struggle with golf being my identity. So there are times that I work in my own game because I want to idolize who Paul Tesori is, and I want people to know that I'm good at golf and this other kind of thing, or good at my job. I still struggle caddying with my identity because I want you to have success so I can have success and I can be still known
Mm-hmm.
as a great caddy. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with me or you guys or whoever the listeners are right now. It's all to glorify God. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the hard work part, one of my favorite things is learning from you men. Every single mature, loving, Christ sanctified man that I've been around, they all do one thing the same. They all spend time with the Lord every single morning. And that was something I had a hard time doing the first part of my walk with the Lord. I came to the Lord very late in life, 2010. And so, for me, it took a while to get that. But that's another part. We don't work hard as to say, God, come look at me. We do it because it fills our spirit inside.
Yep.
And we do it because it's the way you start every day perfectly is in meditation with prayer and in time with the Lord and in reading and in scripture and study. And so, I do that now every day on the road at home. I still get a little bit lazy. I need to do a better job. I know Webb wakes up pre-6 and spends time with the Lord and with his coffee. And that's his time. CJ Mahaney, a great friend of mine, said he'd turn on a little gospel music. He loves listening to it as he's going through his prayer time and reading. I know we all have our thing, but find what that is for you, and you'll see how filled up the Holy Spirit gets every day.
Yeah, and I'd love to give in line with that what Paulie's saying. Wherever the listener is at, Psalm 119:18 says, "Open my eyes that I may see the wonderful truths in your law." And so, we need to marvel at who Jesus is in light of the Easter season. However you enjoyed Easter this year, here's a challenge. Remember Psalm 119:18. Increase your time with the Lord. Ask God to open my eyes that I may see the wonderful things in your law. God communicates with us a lot of ways. Most of the time, he's doing it through his word. So, as you do that, watch what God does. And when next Easter comes around, watch your enjoyment of Christ soar because you see more of who he is and what he's done. Exactly what Paulie's saying.
Thank you,
Amen.
Amen.
Well, Paulie, I think you just helped us accomplish our longest episode ever.
Well, I think right now, if you'd ask Cameron Young while we're still not together, it might be because of the longest episode ever. I don't think he enjoys my vocabulary as much, but that's all right.
Buddy, we could talk to you all day, and we're so grateful for you.
I've got 3 highlights. My relationship with number 5. I can't stand that hole. Paulie says. He says, and we just made a sloppy double. You know, I'm like, I know that. He's putting language to how it felt 100 times. And then he said, I try to get my player to say it first before I walk him into the water. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is so good.
That is great. We started to do the rapid fire hole by hole, and we played the first hole in 16 minutes. I'm like, man, we're going to get penalized.
We're 9 minutes overtime par.
I got put on the clock on the first hole at Augusta National.
Wasn't me talking, it was Paulie.
Well, Paulie, we just love and respect
you, guys.
dude. It's so fun to be gospel teammates with you.
I am such a big fan of the podcast. Every single person. I played a great men's game here on Fridays at St. John's. I've had at least 24 men come up and just talk about how much they love the podcast. And several of them are not believers. So they're coming on for the golf. And, you know, like my pastor says at church, and a little bit of Jesus gets on them. And eventually we'll let the Lord water that and go forward.
Yeah. Well, thank you, buddy. Thanks for listening to the Bible Caddie Podcast. If you've got questions about Jesus or golf questions for the guys, email us at info@BibleCaddie.com. If you're interested in starting a Bible Caddie feature group at your club, email us at groups@BibleCaddie.com. You can follow us on all the socials under the handle @BibleCaddie. We're back next week in the Sermon on the Mount. Until then, let's get into the Word and let the Word get into us.